Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time I'm playing in the Tier 6 Premium Polish medium tank. It is the Pudel. Now, when I previewed this tank, I played about 10 games or so on a test account. I thought I had an overall idea of what the vehicle would be like. That's because, really, it's kind of just a cut-down Panther M10, that Tier 7 Premium German medium tank, or alternatively a lot like the VK3002D, I believe it is called, or is it M? No, I think it's M actually, the Tier 6 German medium. To all intents and purposes, this vehicle is practically identical, apart from this vehicle has slightly higher side hull armor, I believe 50mm rather than 40, which does help it with side scraping against 122mm Soviet caliber guns, you know, those 390 alpha damage monsters. You can side scrape against an IS, for example, on the enemy team. But I've now played about 30 more times in this vehicle, and I've really been struggling. When I play in the Cromwell Berlin, for example, which I think has to be one of the best tanks at Tier 6, when I played on the North American server, I was able to get 80% win ratio in 90 games playing solo in that vehicle. And when I play the Cromwell Berlin on the European server, I'd be surprised if I can't get 70% win solo. But if I'm not tryharding, like super mega tryharding, for example. But with the Pudel, I've been struggling to get 50-50 win ratio in this tank, and my average damage has been way below what I would expect of it. And I'm not sure that's down maybe to the vehicle. Maybe it's that I haven't quite realized how much of a true support tank this is, and it's very large profile. We make that T-34-3 look very slim, as a matter of fact, and that I'm trying to be too aggressive at this tank when it really needs to be played like a mid to long range support vehicle, or always hug a ridge line and make use of the 8 degrees of gun depression this vehicle has. So this oh-ho that we see trundling his way down the slope here has really found himself out of position, and by distracting him here and turning his attention towards me, I'm hoping that I can get all of these guys that are on the map here to be able to assist me and get some shots into him. But it's going to be quite tricky because apart from the Lerva, for example, or maybe the AMX AC-46, especially if it's firing premium rounds, not much is really going to be able to go through that Tier 8 Japanese behemoth. So I have to use my knowledge to be able to outplay him, and that is that he is using a very large caliber gun. The derp gun on that tank fires about 3 rounds a minute, give or take, and so that means that I can fire about 3-4 rounds at him for every time he misses me, hopefully. Now, where are the weak points on the OHO? Well, I actually need to find the mid-hull. And luckily, the shell velocity on his gun is so slow that I can almost pull back before the shell reaches me if I react quick enough or I preempt it. Now, I shoot down on the upper plate there because it's angling. And when you're above a plate that is well angled, we can easily go through even the thick OHO plate there. So not a bad result. We do put 4 rounds into the OHO. I did dab the 2 key a little bit there to try and supplement my damage, but really the 150mm of penetration on the standard rounds on this tank, not even the 194mm of APCR penetration is going to be sufficient to go against that Tier 8 Japanese heavy, but we managed to shut him down, just by locking him in position before he managed to get into where he could be more useful, I guess. Nice shot there on the T-37, securing our first kill of the game, up to 1,500 damage in the first 3.5 minutes. So right now, this game is looking rather close. So it's all about thinking about what are your advantages. And our advantages are that we've got, I guess, 2 artillery. We control more of the center part of the map that you see along here, while the enemies are starting to try and put pressure up here and put pressure along here. Now you'll notice I was thinking about falling back to go and stop the enemies that are advancing in towards the base. But at the time, I thought that T-34-3 was going to be able to hold on for a little bit longer. Now, this was probably the worst thing that I did in this replay. Do you see how I've just faffed around for the last 20 seconds? And I allowed that T-34-3 to die without helping him, without supplementing the total damage that we're able to deal to the enemy team. But luckily for me, the flank that's going around there, I want to create a pincer. Always think about putting yourself at an angle that will supplement your team's damage. And if I was to go round here, for example, and join these guys, then all these guys are going to do is just face round here. These guys are also probably going to get shot in the back from here. But by going up here, I force the enemy tanks to sometimes turn their turret towards me, sometimes turn their turret towards my friends on the other flank. And what that means is that when people turn their turrets or turn their hull armor, that you do get easy penetrations. Now, always defend your base. With these vehicles that are starting to try and pressure in along here, and these vehicles that are pressuring in along here, if they manage to cap, then the game's over. So I have to abandon the T-44, I have to abandon the A-43, I have to come back and try and help out my team taking on a Tier 8 premium French heavy tank in the form of the AMX M449 Liberté. And it looks like that guy's got pretty good view range, so we're going to duck behind the rock here and just hold on. We're going to align ourselves up with the rock and just keep moving backwards and forwards, trying to avoid the artillery shells. If we stay still for too long, those artillery certainly are going to pepper us. But now this is just the perfect situation to find ourselves in. This is where you can seriously supplement your win rate. Have I used the word supplement about 3 or 4 times? Is that the word of the day? I have no idea. I'm not on some kind of drugs. Let's not even go there. Whatever. The AMX M4, this is how you can really boost your win rate. Finding those kind of positions. If you can shoot tanks that are 2 tiers higher than you, with armor that probably would be able to bounce the AMX AC-46 and then go on to pressure the artillery, then you're really starting to have a positive impact in your bad games. Your bad games, I should say, your bad matchups. Now, this is where things are going to get a little ugly and where I'm feeling maybe a little bit overconfident. Now that I've evened up the team score, it's 10-10. Now, where am I trying to shoot on the T-29? Where I'm trying to shoot is right there, because that's where his machine gun port is, and that's really the flat armor on the front of the T-29, which gives me the highest chance to be able to go through. So right now I'm trying to bait him into the open for my artillery, and I make a really bad mistake here and allow the T-29 to get an extra shot into me, and I think, can I go up and shoot him? No, I can't. Where did he even hit me there? Did he shoot me in the cupola? No, it looks like he just hit me in the side of the turret. This thing is such a fat tank. Alright, so I've got 279 hit points. That means that T-29 is going to kill me in a single shot, which means that it is now time to run. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to try and get myself into a position where I force the T-29 to turn himself away from the 46, away from the artillery, and also where I can get support from the T-44 on my team. And so that means the T-44 manages to catch the T-29 completely out in the open because the T-29 was greedy and coming after me. So use your mobility. Try and lure opponents that you think have got that kind of red mist. I think that T-29 was just thinking Pudel, 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 trying to come after me, and we were able to use that to lure him into a position where he was in a crossfire. Not only was he getting shot by the T-44, but also the 46 could have come round the corner, or alternatively the Lorraine 15550 if he was in a stronger position. He would have been able to hit the T-29. But in retrospect, actually, that Lorraine 15550 is thinking about shooting the Tiger who's making his way up. Will he be able to finish him off? Oh, the 46 does. So it doesn't look like that artillery was in so much of a useless position after all. He was just thinking in a different way. And in the end, it worked out. Maybe he didn't quite get the shot in the Tiger, but he would have been able to back him up if the 46 hadn't. So we've completely changed the outcome of this game, and all of the tanks that I've shot in the last few minutes have been higher tier than me. 2,400 damage, 2 kills. It's not exactly a dramatic result for a tier 6 tank. It's not going to be bad. We'll have to take a look in the post-game stats, especially if I manage to get through this. And we've still got a very tricky situation. There's a Leo on the enemy team, and in these moments you've got to be knowing what the alpha damage is on the Leo, and well, this is where that tank is a little tricky, because it could be using the 75mm, it could be using the 105mm. If he's using the 105mm, he's got 300 alpha damage, which means that he's going to pretty much kill me about 6.5 times out of 10. However, if he's using the 75mm, he's going to require 2 shots to be able to kill me. And that's if he rolls at a pretty good rate. Oh, the Lorraine 15550. Try and wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Good shot up there. Now, this is a key moment, thinking about where the artillery is going to shoot us from. So I know where the artillery's last location is, and do you see how I'm using the mini-map line indicator of direction? Oh, this is a key moment as well. Oh, I've got to rewind that just very quickly, because I didn't have time to discuss everything in detail here. So let's just kill that artillery again. Fast forwards. Okay, now this is an important moment. I really want to highlight this. Where I'm looking on the minimap right now, let's make the minimap bigger. You'll see that there's a very faint line. I'm sorry if you're watching on mobile, that might be a bit tricky for you to see. And what I'm doing is using this line to figure out where the artillery's last known position is, because while he could be anywhere, my best guess is where he will be where he's last spotted, unless I have any kind of other information. He's maybe splashed one of my allies, maybe he's relocated. Try and use that to figure out where locations will be. But I'm using this rock to avoid the Hummel. That is of key significance, and you can align the minimap up using that view range indicator to spot him. And now this is the next key moment. What I do is I'm waiting until I'm just about to not be spotted, and then I go forwards, and then I stop and I pull back, and there you go, I baited the shot from the Hummel. And that puts the self-propelled gun on reload, and that means that I can now advance and go after the Leo, or alternatively the Hummel, without him possibly having a good shot on me. But that Leo, I had to fire in clutch there, and right now it's a case of just try and use all the momentum I can to avoid the Hummel. And against that Leo, if I know that I'm going to die in a single shot more times out of 10 than I'm not, I might as well fire fast, because even if I miss, he misses or he low rolls, then I'm ready to reload and shoot him again before he manages to finish me off. And it's the same situation there with the Hummel. When you've got such a good rate of fire as you do with the Pudel, you might as well take the snappy shot to see if you will be able to shut down the tank without even taking a hit. So don't be confused by the extreme amount of experience that we got here, 15,000 for our win. This was actually only 1,387 base experience points, and we got a huge amount of bonus from, I think, triple experience and also a 5 times experience event that was running on the EU server for premium tanks. And while we do pick up a Pascucci's medal for killing 2 self-propelled guns on the enemy team and the Lever Slayo's medal for killing 2 enemy vehicles that were at least 1 tier higher than us, this isn't really an extreme result with a whopping amount of damage, a whopping amount of credits, 18,000 profit with a premium account. But I did feel it was a game where so many little things happened, so many tiny decisions that had to be made that arguably influenced whether our team would win or lose. And while I appreciate that the replay and I guess the insight might be mundane to the super unicorns of you out there, hopefully there are a few others that might find it interesting or useful. And if it was, please consider giving this video a like, I'd really appreciate it. And let me know in the comments whether you prefer these kind of nitty-gritty what's going on in my mind commentaries, or if you'd rather have the play-by-play and the gigantic result. And as always, thank you so much for watching, you've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and I just interrupted the poll.